take a look at some more Peter Bernstein chord soloing. And this one is taken from Airegin, from Sonny Rollins' tune. And it's actually a live show that's on YouTube, a live concert. So you can, I'll link to the video below so you can check it out. And I'm actually pretty excited because I'm gonna be doing a workshop for Peter Bernstein fans Facebook group. And in the workshop, I'm gonna be covering this very solo. So not just the chord soloing, but the whole solo Pete plays. So I'll link to that Facebook group as well, so you can join and maybe check out my workshop as well if you're interested. But as always, the PDF is also gonna be linked below, so you can get the PDF as well. Anyways, this is gonna be a whole chorus of Pete's chord soloing, so the last chorus of his solo. And today I'm just gonna cover the first half, so I'm covering the first A and the B as well. And I'm gonna post another video covering the second half. But anyways, let's dive into the first half. So keep in mind that this is a real up tempo, so it goes by pretty quickly, right? I mean, this is something like 260 something BPM, if you're interested. But the first, I'll just go through the chords quickly if you don't know the tune, because the chords could be a bit tricky to figure out. So the tune is in F minor, kind of. Well, it starts in F minor, it ends in A flat major. So we start in F minor, C7, F minor, then it kind of becomes like an F7. It goes to B flat minor, another F7, B flat minor, and now it goes to a quick 2/5 to D flat. Now once you get to D flat, this is the first ending, kind of the first B. So so we have this D flat, and now we just play 2/5s going down half steps, which is a bit tricky to play on, but you'll see how Pete handled this beautifully. So anyways, we have D flat, D, G, C major, D flat, G flat, C flat major, or maybe we should call it a B major, C, F, B flat, and we stay on this B flat major for 2 bars. After 2 bars it becomes a B flat minor, then we have an E flat 7, an A flat, and now we go back to F minor. And the next F minor is already gonna be the second half, so that's gonna be covered in the next video. So Pete starts up with this beautiful chord that he actually uses all the time when it comes to minor chord soloing, or even minor comping. Every minor tune he plays, he'll be using that chord. So it's worth checking out. And it's the notes are C, G, D, and A flat. And just a bit of a theoretical kind of background of this chord. What we basically have is like an F minor 6, right? But instead of playing the root, instead of playing the F as a part of the chord, it kind of chooses to play the 9th. So he omits the F in favor of the G. And what we get is like a 4th chord, right? It's just, we have between A flat and D, we have an augmented 4th, and then a perfect 4th between D and G, and another perfect 4th between G and C. So it's a very cool sound to use. And he also uses it a lot when he solos. So he would play it as a chord, but he might also arpeggio those kind of ideas when he solos. Anyway, so he plays that. That comes in on the 3 of the bar. So if the 1 is, it comes in on the 3, and the next chord comes in on the 4 end. So the next chord is already a C7, or you can understand it as an F sharp, as a sub 5. But yeah, it's a pretty straightforward C7 as well. Anyway, the notes are we have an E flat up here, A flat, E natural, and the B flat. So we have this sharp 9 sound, as well as a flat 13 up here. So he plays those 2 chords, and then he goes straight into an F7 kind of F7 sound, F7, C minor 6, or whatever you want to call it, which is kind of like he drags the F7 a few bars earlier, but it comes out really cool. So he plays C, G, E flat, and an A, and he kind of plays this rhythmical pattern with it. You can listen to the recording to kind of get the rhythm down as he plays it. And then the next chord is kind of like a very interesting kind of an interesting thing to play on F7, just because it has a lot of tensions in it. It has an F up here, then it has a B, an F sharp, and a C sharp. Now there's really many ways you can kind of try and define this chord, what it is, why does it work so well, but I think of it just as like having those few notes that kind of are a half step above the B flat, which is what we're aiming for. So those notes just create so much tension that is later resolved when we go to the B flat. And anyway, if you kind of follow Pete's chord soloing, he kind of uses those. It's another chord that is made out of fourths, right? So we have an augmented fourth here, perfect fourth here, and another perfect fourth. So again, it's a very useful chord for Pete. But I think of it as an F7 with just many tensions to it. Anyway, now we get to the B flat, and we play this really common B flat 6, B flat minor 6. So we have a B flat up here, an F, a D flat, and a G, the 6 of the chord. Now he plays another 5, so it's the same kind of logic that we had here, 1, 5. Now we play the same thing in B flat, but the voicings are slightly different. So we have the B flat, and the 5 is this really interesting chord that you don't hear a lot for an F7 maybe. I mean, it comes up as a B7 quite often with this flat 9/13 sound kind of, but then it would have to be resolved to E, right? So you probably had that sound before. But anyways, here you kind of play that and resolve it to B flat minor. So you kind of resolve it as a sub 5, or you can also think of it as just an F7, right? Because we have. So I'll go through the notes. We have an A flat up here, E flat, C, and an A natural. So again, this sharp 9 sound, but we also have the 5 and the 7. But it's quite an interesting chord to play as an F7. I mean, or you can think of it as a sub 5. Anyway, that's what he plays. And then he does the same rhythmical pattern from before. And he actually uses the same chord we started up with. So we started up with this chord for the F minor 6, and now he plays the same chord for the B flat minor 6. So this chord is an F, C, the G, and the D flat. So again, we have just a B flat minor 6, but he omits the 1 of the chord, the B flat, in favor of the C. So he comes up with this interesting chord. And he does the same rhythmical pattern from before. Again, you can check it out. You can get the PDF to see it written down. Maybe it helps to kind of nail it down. But it's also quick thumb motion. So this is kind of worth practicing as well. It's like a very kind of Wes-like way of strumming the chord. Anyway, after he plays this, it becomes a bit complicated. He plays like this chromatic approach chord, which Pete does quite a lot, and it's often very tricky to figure out what he does there. But I think it just picks this chord, which is like a minor 7 chord, and he only picks like 3 strings. So he picks the 6, the 4th, and the 3rd string of this. Kind of mutes the 5th string. So I mute it with my middle finger. So you don't really want that note as a part of your chord. Anyway, so I start up here with D flat minor. So the notes are an F, a flat F, or an E, sorry, you can just, let's just look at it as a C sharp minor. So we have an E, a B, and a C sharp, and then we go down chromatically. So we basically just play C sharp minor, C minor, B minor, B flat minor, A minor, and then we reach kind of our destination, which is this D flat. It's a D flat major, but Pete plays a major 6 with a 9 as well. So the notes are E flat, B flat, F, and then A flat. And again, it's a chord that contains a lot of like perfect fourths. So this kind of theme comes back, and it's gonna keep coming back in this solo. Actually, in every Peter Bernstein chord solo. So once we reach this D flat, we're basically in the second part, in the B of the song. So we finish with the A, and now we have these 2 5s going down. So well, I'll show you the chords, and I'll also kind of explain harmonically why it works, what Pete does. So we play this D flat, right? This is pretty straightforward. And then he syncopates this D minor, but basically it's a very straightforward chord, even though it comes a bit earlier than you would expect. But so we have this, again, it's a perfect fourth chord, as I warned you. It's a D minor 11, kind of, a D minor 11, actually. So we have an F up here, C, G, and a D. And kind of pay attention to this chord, because we're gonna be using this chord exclusively for the next couple of bars. So what we're doing basically is we're playing this D minor, and then we're playing it a minor third up, sorry. So you can think of it as just the same chord, a minor third up, or you can think about it as an F minor, which is kind of useful as well. It's like a 4 minor to C major, which is our goal. But the interesting thing is that the C major he plays with exactly the same voicing. So you can think of this as either like an E minor chord with an 11, or you can think of it as a C major with the 6 and the 9. So again, it's kind of this chord that can be useful for over kind of for a large variety of things. But he kind of uses it to spell out this 2-5 that goes to C major. So we're playing kind of dominant area, right? Like a dominant sound. Now we reached the tonic. So we kind of resolve the 2-5 with the same chord. And then we kind of keep using the same chord. And this is very interesting, because the next 2-5 is gonna be with the D flat minor and the G flat 7, right? So our goal here is a D flat minor, and we will hear in the C major or the E minor, whatever you want to call it, and he just goes chromatically down to get to that D flat. So start up here with a G, D, A, and E, and we just play this chord chromatically going down, and we get to this D flat, and he gets to the D flat right on the 1. So exactly as the harmony changes, he gets to the D flat. So he times it perfectly in that case. And then he does exactly the same as before, right? We had this D flat, and now he plays a 4 minor, so the same chord 1/3 up, back to this kind of E minor, and now an E flat minor or a D sharp minor, whichever way you want to look at it. But it also works. It functions as a B major 7 or a B major 6 in that case. But he also kind of you wanna listen to the recording, because he kind of brings out, at some point he brings out the first string as well, just around here, like you hear that he kind of brings out the first string, so he keeps the barré going a bit lower. Now we have this A sharp ringing up here. So we have an A sharp, an F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and a D sharp. And that's if you look at it as a B major, which is, I think, well, it's actually it's the only right way to look at it. And then he does exactly the same thing again, just a half step down. So I'll just cover the whole thing again from this D minor. I'll do it slow. Maybe from the D flat major. So we had the D flat major, D minor, C major, D flat minor, B major, C minor, and B flat major. And now we reached kind of this last chord of this sequence. And again, this is either a D minor, or in this case you should kind of look at it as a B flat major 7, 6, 9. It's a very rich chord, right? A very rich sound. Of course, Pete doesn't play the bass here, but the bass player is gonna play a B flat there. Anyway, once we've done that, then he kind of keeps doing the same logic of chromatically moving the chords, but he uses a different chord now, and he uses the same chord from before, which is this minor 7 chord. And he starts up with E, so on the 12th fret, and the notes are G, D, and E. And again, we try and we want to mute the 5th string when we're playing this. And we just play a chromatic approach to C sharp. So going down chromatically, three chords. We got to C sharp. This is like well, you can think of this whole passage. The goal here is a B flat minor, right? But we said we have 2 bars on B flat major. So he kind of fools around with this minor 7 chords. I mean, you can look at it this way, but this is basically the whole passage is one big chromatic approach. So we go down 3 chords. This is like a triplet. And now it keeps going down, right? So we have a C sharp, C minor 7, and now the C minor 7 again, B7. So, and now we get to this B flat finally. So again, just this whole approach. So again, you can have it written down if this is a bit confusing, but again, yeah, the goal is you should think about it as we use chromatic passages while we're soloing with single notes. Pete just does the same with chords. So the goal is this B flat minor, but he allows himself to kind of use all these chords to get there. But the goal is, again, yeah, the goal is what matters in this case. Anyway, once we get to this B flat minor, it does a kind of an interesting thing on the 2-5. We said it's just a B flat minor, E flat 7, and it goes to A flat major 7. But he kind of, again, he plays with it chromatically a bit. So he plays a B flat minor once, but then he goes a half step up again, just to make it a bit more complicated here, to play the 2-5 a half step up. And now he plays this 5th, which to me sounds a bit like he goes back to B flat, right? I mean, this 5th could be like a part of a B flat minor 7, 11. But he only brings these 2 notes up. Now he goes down to this A7, sharp 11, which is a flat 5. Sorry, so I'll go through the notes a bit. Maybe I'm going too quickly. So we have this B flat minor, we have an F, D flat, A flat, and a B flat. Now half step up, so an F sharp, D, A, and a B. This perfect 5th is just an E flat and an A flat. Right, E flat and an A flat, and the next chord is an A7 sharp 11. So it's a sub 5 basically for E flat. And the notes are E flat. Well, maybe it's better D sharp. It's a D sharp. I'm sorry. C sharp, G, and then A. And the rhythm again is a bit tricky. It plays dotted quarter notes. He plays all those chords as dotted quarter notes. But I won't go into the rhythm now. You can get the PDF and check it out. And the next chord, the chord he uses for the tonic here, to resolve kind of as to the A flat major is also a pretty tricky chord. It's like an A flat major 7 sharp 11. So we have a G up here, D, C, and then A flat. And it kind of repeats that chord 3 times. And then we have the 2-5 back to F minor. So he plays a G, well, it's a G half diminished, but he doesn't play the 5. So he just plays B flat, F, and G. And then he plays a G diminished. So we have a G, C sharp, B flat, and then E. And then the same diminished and augmented fourth up. So we have a D flat, G, E, and B flat. And then it gets back to the chord we started up with. And this is already, I'm gonna be covering this in the next half of this video. So I really hope you enjoyed this. And just to repeat some more infos from the beginning of the video, I'm gonna be doing a workshop on this solo for a Facebook group of Peter Bernstein fans. So I'll link to that group below. You can check the group up. There's also amazing masterclass coming up in the group, so it's definitely worth checking out. You can buy the PDF. It's gonna be linked below, and you can check out the original recording, of course, which is amazing. And other than that, as always, likes, subscriptions, and comments are appreciated. And I'll see you next time.